Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 hardest 2D platformers. For this list, we'll be looking at games that made us rage until we mastered their tricky platforming. Some of these games may seem impossible until we put in the time and learn all their tricks and secrets. What is the hardest 2D platformer you've played? Let us know in the comments. Before we continue, we publish content all week long. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. I Wanna Be the Guy. Some games are designed to make us rage, and I Wanna Be the Guy is one of them. I Wanna Be the Guy is a game that seems impossible and unfair at times. Levels will look bare, but one false move could lead to your demise. I Wanna Be the Guy is from an era of let's make a goofy hard game and throw it on the internet. Even though the game seems impossible, you can get through it with trial and error, and there'll be loads of errors. However, the thing that kept me playing was all the fun inclusions of other video game assets. Playing through levels and seeing enemies from Ghosts and Goblins, sprites from Mega Man, and even going toe-to-toe with Iron Mike Tyson is a ton of fun. Braid. When you think about hard platformers, you probably think of difficult jumps and avoiding baddies. Braid is difficult for its mind-bending time puzzles. At first glance, this may look like an artsy-fartsy platformer, but as you progress, the puzzles start to really rattle your brain. Created by Jonathan Blow, Braid was one of the stepping stones for indie games to become more mainstream. This was probably due to the game taking a genre most people know and adding difficult yet thoughtful puzzles Braid is full of. Ninja Gaiden. NES games were hard and most were unfair or poorly designed. Ninja Gaiden was a hard game that was designed excellently, with the exception of the knockback when enemies hit you. While each entry in the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy is hard, and most arguing that Ninja Gaiden 3 was the hardest, it's safe to say no matter which entry you play, it'll prove to be difficult. So, what made Ninja Gaiden so tough? The platforming was excellent, but the enemies would be the thing that usually take people out. Oh, yeah, and that knockback. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Deemed too hard for North America, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is actually Super Mario Bros. 2. We received Lost Levels with the spectacular compilation, Super Mario All-Stars. Lost Levels took everything we learned in Super Mario Bros. And upped it. We got bigger gaps, harder enemies, smaller platforms, and the addition of wind. Lost Levels is hands down the hardest Mario game to this day thanks to those additions. Now, was it actually too hard for North American players? Hard to say. I mean, how many of us can actually say we finished the game? Spelunky 2. One thing that makes platformers easier is the ability to memorize levels. Spelunky 2 takes that away from us with its procedurally generated levels. Sure, that alone is difficult, but the fact that the game is full of traps that are meant to kill you is what makes it really hard. Oh, and you only get one life. Now with that being said, you can master Spelunky. Learning what traps look like and just playing the game will give you the reflexes and muscle memory that will help you progress. All the things that make Spelunky 2 difficult are also what make roguelikes so amazing. VVV. Quite possibly the most unique game on this list, VVV, hopefully I got all the V's, is a platformer where we actually don't control the character's jump, but control the gravity instead. VVV is another game that players will learn by trial and error, and it will test players' patience when it comes to some of the challenges the game has to offer. The game is generous with checkpoints, but this is somewhat of a facade as each room in VVV will test your skills. There are also user-created levels, which, if we know anything about user-creator levels, they can be incredibly difficult. The end is nigh. Why don't people talk about this game? The End is Nigh is one of the most difficult games I've ever played. Each area builds upon the last. At first, you'll have basic platforming, then the next area will add hooks for you to grab onto, after that spikes, floating platforms, and enemies. The difficulty ramps up well here. However, later levels will have all that with pixel-perfect platforming and timing. If you're a completionist, that is where the true difficulty lies. Tumors and keys will unlock more areas and levels, which will be quite difficult to complete with a set amount of lives. Cuphead. Originally, a game focused on difficult boss battles, during development, run-and-gun levels were added to Cuphead. Now, these levels aren't actually that difficult, however, a few will prove to be a challenge. The difficulty will be the bosses the game was originally built around. Cuphead has some of the most notorious bosses in games, and each one will feel completely different with their unique levels. Each level is full of great and exciting platforming that will take a bit of time to master, but with proper equipment and memorizing the boss's attack patterns, they can be easily taken down. Well, not easily, but you'll get them. Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is another game like I Want to Be the Guy. The original Meat Boy was released during the Flash game craze that was full of games that were hard just to be hard. Super Meat Boy took the original game and polished it up and added smooth controls. Super Meat Boy is one of those games where pixel perfect and time jumps are essential. You'll be dying a lot. So much so that when you finally finish a level, you'll see every run that you failed at and where you died. One of the things that makes Super Meat Boy hard, other than the fact that the game's just hard, is the grade rating. Each level has a set time in which players should aim to complete the level by if you're going for 100%. The unlockable characters add more fun and difficulty with each based on other hit indie games and each character having their own unique skill set. Celeste. It's not every day that a game can be frustratingly difficult and still have an impactful story. Celeste, just like most games on this list, is another pixel-perfect platformer that will reward you for your trial and error. Each level will test your skill and at times seem impossible. While the game is hard, the thing that sets Celeste apart from the other entries is the story that goes along with our difficult journey. Celeste is a game that focuses on never giving up, finding self-love, and even tackling anxiety and depression. It's very rare that a game can tackle serious issues that we all deal with and wrap it up in a tight, difficult platformer. Did you enjoy this video? Check out some other clips from Mojo Plays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.